Alright, so let's talk about a few things that you might have missed on this ban list last night. This motherfucker dropped, like, what, 9:30 at night? Nobody saw this coming. I've asked so many people, hey, were you caught with your pants down? Literally, as a joke. And so many people have been like, yeah, I didn't see this coming. So I want to talk about a couple of cool little interactions that we'll probably see disappear within the community after a while. But, you know, it's always kind of cool to have these discussions and kind of see where the format's going. So these are 5 cool things that you can see on the September 2018 ban list. Enjoy your clickbait. Not really. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to say here is I will do an actual meta breakdown at some point this weekend. Don't worry, we're heading into the 200th, but I wanted to get this out of my system because I think there's a few things that we might have missed on this list. Still a little bit ragged. It's been a long night, so bear with me here. So first off, this is going to be a lot of the first time that people are going to be dealing with heroes as a deck. I can't tell you the last time that I remember Stratos being legal for a lot of new players. And this might come as a shocker to a lot of you guys, but there are a lot of new players in this game that don't understand how good Stratos is, or what the want or hype for Stratos was. Stratos has been the culprit of a lot of one-card OTKs, formerly the Future Fusion OTK before Future Fusion got errated. Literally one-card OTK. Future Fusion, I guess, started it all. But a lot of people need to understand that we're now in an era where there's a culture dedicated to Stratos, and it's far greater than I think anybody understands. And there are going to be a lot of people trying out heroes at the beginning of this format. I think the hype for this deck is realer than anything I have seen in a very, very long time. Now, that doesn't mean that the deck's going to take off or anything, but you're going to see a reassurance, or you're going to see a lot of players returning to the game strictly because of heroes. Like, let that sink in for a moment. All because of this right here. They're trying to push the Megatins even harder. If you've resisted buying a tin until this point, Stratos' return probably should have swayed your opinion to some degree. Sorry about the slight interruption. I was telling my brother that Stratos was back, and he was massively overjoyed. He hasn't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In, oh god, what, 6 years now? So that was an interesting conversation. Stratos is back. I don't care, but that's awesome. Fun times. But there's a whole generation of players that have not got the chance to play heroes. So I'm expecting interesting things to kind of come out of this. So that's the first big thing. A new generation being exposed to a very old deck. Now, next up, this is a very interesting one. This is going to be the first time a lot of players are going to be experiencing Super Poly. Now, in the past, Super Poly was used with the hero engine to basically offset your opponent's monsters. You would use it as a defensive means to shut off your opponent's stuff. We've made jokes in the past that Super Poly is the spell speed 4 alternative. Now, we got the card banned here after a while, and then we got the release of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. And with the release of Starving Venom, you know, we got the ability to fuse with dark monsters at this point. Continuing on along down the paradigm, we eventually reached the point of, we got Mud Dragon now. So we now have a means to fuse essentially anything that we could want in the game. Norden was another very generic cancerous card that you could, such generic fusion materials that you could make and abuse. But Norden no longer exists. But now every side deck in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Can experience the fake spell speed 4. I think that this is just, I think Super Poly is going to be a cute little side deck trend that we're probably going to play for like a week. It's like, oh my god, it's back. You know, we have to try this out. It's like, hey, Super Poly, I can out-tool my opponent's monsters for no reason. 2 for 2. Like, it's cool, right? Oh no, you go 2 for 2, but you go +1 because you produce the Mud Dragon. Seeing a generation also be exposed to Super Poly, I don't really wish this upon anybody, because the last time we had to deal with this shit, it wasn't too fun. But Super Poly as a means to kind of clear up the effective meta is something that will be left seen for future generations. But if you're planning on playing for the next week or so. Let everybody get their super poly shenanigans out. I definitely will say, in addition to the hero aspect, there's going to be a lot of people trying a lot of crazy things. Now, the next cool thing that we actually got from this list, this one was awesome to me. Not really, I hate Cosmo. Cosmo Dark Destroyer is now at 3. Or at 2, excuse me. That means we've had a rather large increase. The grand scheme of things, we got, 33% more Dark Destroyer, because we already had one. Max you can play is 3, so yeah, about 33% more Dark Destroyer. I already hated the fact that we had non-targeting issues with this deck. The deck could just kill you out of left field. But now, in addition to Dark Destroyer coming back, they also gave them an additional copy of Limited Removal. Now, I don't know how many of you guys ever played during Spaceship format. Spaceships was basically triple honest with T-45, the ships. I think the last time we saw that deck was, 2010? Wherever the Minneapolis Nationals was the last time that I saw Spaceships do something. But now Limited Removal's back, in addition to Cosmo now having a full armada of support. Once again, let that sink in. One of the most hated decks that I've ever hated in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Makes its grand return. And I don't think Cosmo is going to be that offensively broken, but it's going to have the same super poly hype. And even the same hero hype. You're going to have people that are like, oh my god, this is back. Let's try this. There's got to be some way to break this new mechanic, or, it's like, hey, I want to try this for locals once in a while. With the new hype and the new things like that, do expect Dark Destroyer to be a pain in your butt, and even worse, now knowing that there is 33% more Dark Destroyer available in your opponent's deck as they senselessly beat you over the head. It's almost like a 50% increase because we doubled it, but I'm still saying 33%. So, hey, more Dank Daddy. I hate that deck. Something else that I think this generation is going to hate with this list, we now have Morphing Jar back. Do you remember the last time that we played Morphing Jar? I don't. If there was anything that this list gave me that was just like, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, you took away Chain Strike from the Chamberlain players. So you give Morphing Jar back to the Mill-Out players? Konami, what are you doing? I ask you, what are you doing? Morphing Jar's existence allows Mill to return. Now, I don't think Mill's going to be good at all. I'm just saying that there's going to be that one guy at your locals that's going to be like, hey, Morphing Jar's back. I can play 3 Needleworm, AD Changer, Foliage Burial for, the AD Changer. It's a deck that's from a forgotten era. Do you need to be worried about it? I don't think so. Do you need to be aware of what it does and how it works? Yes. I would definitely say that this deck is fundamentally dangerous. My saying this week seems to be being caught with your pants down. And I think, for the most part, when you're playing in a format like this, you need to just be aware that you have the potential to randomly run into a rogue Mill-Out deck. This will be the deck that will ruin your day round 1 to regional, just because you were massively unprepared for it. I've almost been there with Morphtronics in my time. Not Morphtronics. What's the... it's the little robot deck. I can't remember the name of it right now. But they spam out a bunch of guys. They're kind of like Morphtronics, but just better. But yeah, they have a little spaceship too, and they're all numbered. I can't remember that deck. But yeah, this will be a rogue deck that I think a lot of people are going to be jumping to and just being excited. Hey, it's like, we can test this again, or I can fucking mill out little Johnny at locals. Like, this would be the deck you want to go 1-3 just so you can get down to the loser bracket and just beat your opponent with it and smile. So, and the last cool thing the last piece of hype that I think this list gives to us is a new breath, or a new take on Danger. Now, the fantastic thing about Danger coming, or getting more hype, is you now have card destruction. So I was talking about early in the week when we saw the initial buyout on card destruction, or people trying to remove them from the market. I'm like, what's the validity of this card coming back? Your best case scenario is you card destruction for, so you go first, you have card destruction. Card destruction for 4 cards, you draw 4. If every one of those cards gives you advantage, you've got a +3. Alright, that's your best optimal result. Your insane result is you desired for 5 cards, and you have the card destruction. You card destruction, draw 5, and trigger 5 effects. That's your other best case scenario. But looking at the grand scheme of things, I think people are going to test this because it is new. Is it going to be the best? No, absolutely. I don't think so. I think this is just another tech card that Danger have available to them that we're going to try to push. I mean, so many of these cards are staples just from older eras making their return. A lot of draw power, actually. This list freed up a lot of draw power. But I'm excited to see where Danger is going to go as a deck, just on the principle of it's Danger. You know, so card destruction, breathing new light into that deck. I think a lot of people, our residential Burning Abyss Danger players, should probably be excited that they got a new support card, all wrapped up in one old card limited to 1. Card destruction is never going to move off of the list from 1, so take it for what it's worth. So these are the 5 things I think people are going to be most excited for on this list. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Goki and Sky Striker are still here. Oh, yes they are. Sky Striker, I would argue, is one of the best decks now. Mech Knight Invoked is sitting there in the background, but I'll get to that meta discussion at another stage in this weekend, hopefully. So I have some pre-film content. We'll try to squeeze it in. I'm debating on if I'm going to upload locals videos this weekend. Probably not, but we'll see. So guys, that's all I have. You agree with my top 5 most exciting things to happen on this list? Yay or nay? Alright guys, do Serenos. Peace! The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.